So today I want to talk about trash. No, not trash. Kitchen scraps. Now that we're going out of summer and out of the big planting season, and of course we plant all year round, these are the containers I keep next to the sink. I use flower pots. Now, these pots have no holes, so I get them from a florist. But you can go to a dollar store, or you can find them online, and you can buy a whole bunch of them and just leave them by the sink, wherever you're doing your cutting up, and rotate them through. So every day or every couple days you put it outside. And that's what I want to talk about today. What do you do with the kitchen scraps when you're not planting? Let's go outside with my bucket and let's talk about that. Well, now I'm in my front yard where I am setting up tubs that I'll probably plant in the spring, unless I decide to plant in it sooner. See, I'm just starting to fill these plastic tubs with things from the garden, branches and stuff. I'm in no hurry. This one too, just cleaning up the garden. And this one I actually started to get more and more things in it because, well, I've got squash growing here. Got it covered in tulle to keep some of the squirrels out. And this one, I'm just throwing all kinds of whatever in here. And I'm going to dump this bucket that I just showed you that I took out of the kitchen. This is going in here. And on that sticker, I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. Something you may or may not know. So for now, I am just going to dump this. It's got different things, you know, squash skins, zucchini, there's coffee grinds, eggshells, there's all kinds of stuff. And the bucket, I will rinse it out. And I will dump the water in here. As far as the sorrel, the red vein sorrel, this is just sitting here, just on top. You see all the bugs and stuff in there? I don't know if you can see it. There's no soil in here. But this is just sitting there, so when I water that, it keeps this nice and damp. We have had a little bit of rain. If you didn't want it to smell or you want to keep it cleaner, you can just grab some soil from around your property, sweep your driveway, put your vacuum cleaner dirt in there from the house. You can put that in there. Or just grab a shovel or two around the property and just throw some dirt on top. That's all you need to do. You know, just throw some native soil on top and it will keep it nice and fresh. And the critters will still go in there and they will still eat underneath. And when I say critters, I am talking about microbes and stuff. The other thing you could do, if you wanted to, is throw wood chips. If you've got wood chips, like we have wood chips, you can throw wood chips on top of that too. Leaves, whatever you want to do. Remember, I compost in place, so it's no turn. Because they're living in there, those microbes, your little insects that you want to eat that down, they're going to be living in there, so you do not turn it, you layer it. Everything's done in layers. But I'm going to show you other things I do, since I don't know really where I want to put all my compost, or I should say kitchen scraps from my kitchen. Let's go take a walk. Real quick, this is branches, pieces of celery and different things just from the garden. I am keeping those, so I'm filling those up in buckets until I decide where I'm going to put it. You don't throw that away. This will all break down into wonderful compost for your garden. So with that, just have some buckets around, and just as you go through, like over here, hey, I pulled off that celery, drop it in there, and then forget about it. But you keep that, because that is going to turn into soil. Let's keep going. Another bucket of leaves. Yes, that's criminal. You don't have to tell me about it. I had so many eggplants, I didn't even know they were all on there. The bush was so big. And see, it's already breaking down. So I'm going to use the yellow eggplant for either seeds. I can just slice them up and put them in the ground, and they'll grow in the spring. I can leave them here. I can leave them here all winter. Or I can chop them up and throw them in my buckets where I'm going to compost. And again, more celery. You see yellow leaves. Break it off. Throw it in there. All that, okay, maybe not the green one, but I did anyways. All that is going to break down and turn into wonderful, wonderful soil. You don't throw any of this away. You just hold on to it. It doesn't go bad. It's not going to spoil. If it spoils, it's good. All right, let's keep going. Now, I wanted to stop here to show you what not to do. You know how they say, do as I say, not as I do? Well, that's one of those things. Here are 2 plastic containers I had in the kitchen with kitchen scraps. And I did the smart thing, meaning the opposite, of putting it too close to the eaves of the roof. So see, they filled up with water, which I'm going to dump. I'm actually going to dump that on some plants. It will be like a good feeding tea, but this is not what I wanted. This you don't want. You don't want it to fill with water, because even though there is bugs in there, it's not the bugs you want. You'll end up with mosquitoes. So this is not what you want. So a little rain is okay, unless you're getting inches and inches and inches, which we do not. We've had 2 rains so far, and each one brought us a ½ inch. And that would go into the compost or into the kitchen scraps, keep it nice and damp, and it would naturally break down. But this was underneath the eaves, and so it got the flowing water. So that's what you do not do. You find the place away from your house. Let's keep going. Okay, here we are. Since I'm not working on this bathtub right now, I decided to start putting my kitchen scraps here. This way they will get a little bit of rain, but if you are in an area that you're getting a lot of rain, put a board or something on top. There's a bucket, plain old bucket. You can buy those buckets at any dollar store. What I would do if I didn't have the florist buckets is I would probably buy about 20 of those buckets, and I would be using that to collect my kitchen scraps. And then of course you don't have to leave that little in there. You can just come out here, dump it in, rinse it, and keep going and bring it back in the house. So 20 buckets would be more than enough. But you can line them up in the fall and in the winter in an area that's either out of the snow, or it could be in the snow, but you want it covered. You don't want it to get waterlogged. And let it sit until spring. And then you're ahead of the game. When you set up your containers to grow in or whatever, even in the ground, you are ready with the greatest matter to put into soil. This one I covered. You could cover it. I took a trash can. Yeah, it's a wire trash can you get at the dollar store. And you can put that on top. That will keep out any big critters. There's another one of those stickers. We'll talk about that at the end of this video. And that's it. Look at that. Or you could just leave it out. Whatever works for you. But what I'm trying to make a point right now, and this will be one of my short videos, is don't throw it out in the garbage. If you live in an apartment and you've got a patio, find a place that you can put it, and maybe go, if you don't have soil or, from native soil, go to your neighbors and bring home some soil in one of these plastic buckets. So when you do that, I'm going to see if I can find any soil. Probably not. Yeah, I can. And then you just throw a little bit on top and it will keep it fresh. I'll show you what I mean. Just the smallest amount of soil will actually keep it fresh. It just works. I don't know, it works for me. So if you had a bucket of soil, put something on top if it rains a lot in the area you're going to keep it. Throw handfuls of soil on top of the kitchen scraps. And then, like I said, come spring, you've got buckets of this stuff ready to go into containers, or if you're planting in the ground, you can dig a trench, you could dig a hole, dump it in the ground, cover it, and plant right next to it. Your plants will love it. So again, don't throw it away. And somebody asked about dog hair. Yes, my husband, when he combs the dogs, he throws dog hair in there. It breaks down really, really good. You can put almost anything. You could, even if you ate a little bit of chicken, had a little bit of chicken bones, if it's in a place that nothing's going to get to it, that will break down. That's up to you. You put in there what you want. But the point is, whatever it is, all those kitchen scraps, cooked or raw, old things found in the fridge that you have no idea what it is, you save all that and put it in buckets. and go to the dollar store and get these buckets and just keep using them. That one's got a handle, see? So I can just grab the handle and bring it out here. I will probably be putting these two together, at least this one. See, I don't need to leave such a small amount. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera. And then I can throw some more soil on top in the other bucket. I can rinse it and bring it back in the house. So you're not going to need that many buckets. But oh, if you ended up with 20 buckets of that, can you imagine in the spring how much wonderful start you've got for your plants? And it'll already be almost broke down. Don't worry if it gets earthworms or not in the winter. It's still going to get microbes, and that's what's important, and you're going to have it. And even if you accidentally didn't keep it damp and it dried out and it becomes petrified, well, guess what? When you start to work with it in the spring, it will rehydrate when you add some water to it, wherever you put it, and it will continue to break down at that point. Because remember, water is life. It's got to have some sort of water in there. Otherwise, it becomes petrified and it's no good. But again, you can rehydrate it when you're ready and go from there. So that's all I wanted to talk about today on Save Your Kitchen Scraps. And be ready for the spring when you're ready to plant. And even like now, I'm still planting, so I'm probably going to end up grabbing these, or maybe I'll fill up this bathtub and grow something in here since it's got good drainage. But whatever, I've got it. And when I do decide to set up a container or grow in the ground, I can come running over wherever I'm storing it. Here, I've got it away from the house. You don't want it up against your back door. I mean, you don't want it someplace. I just put it next to the wall. And it's not bothering anybody. Find the spot where it's not bothering anybody, and you've got it. So you decide you want to plant up a container, you come running outside, and you know where it is, and you use that for your compost, you know, as you're breaking down. Like I said, you can grow in it right away. So if you set up a container, let's swing over here. If you start setting up a container, you'll know that you can dig a hole or start putting it in there because you've already got it. So that's the main thing, is you've got it. When you don't have it is when you've got to build it up. So this way you'll have it already ready to go, and you'll be ahead in the spring if you're not going to grow in the fall. But if you're going to grow all through the fall, and maybe some places in California and different areas around the country, or in the country, out of the country, can grow all year round, you'll have it. So just don't throw it in the garbage, because it's really not garbage. It's gold when it comes to your plants. So with that, just wanted to touch on that today. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow, and watch the tiny clip on the end. Bye-bye, everybody. Even though we grow bananas, we don't seem to grow enough. Now, what I was going to talk about, believe it or not, in order for any of the food industries to put stickers onto their fruit, from what I have found online, is they are supposed to be food grade ink, food grade stickers, and edible, which is interesting. So these are edible and totally safe. But let me tell you one thing. I have put these in the compost bins, and though they're safe and edible and food grade and non-toxic, these things just don't break down. I can find them a year later if I'm moving something. It looks just like the day I put it in sometimes. But the banana peel will be long gone. The apple peel will be long gone. But that sticker's there. So I can only assume that if a child eats it, it will come out in the same fashion as it went in. Okay, food for thought for the day. Have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye.